Sam, it's you!
We started. Alright, this is your idea, so you can go.
Hey, hi, Bill. This is this. What we did last time, that was that. This is this. This is kind of a video because I was sort of looking at some metal stuff that happened maybe 10 years ago. I think hey, maybe a 10-year anniversary of this, 10-year anniversary of that. And I think there's another video, at least one other one that's going to be coming. So I figured, officially, Pantera broke up in 2003. I mean, if anyone out there wants to argue if I'm incorrect or whatever, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But they broke up about 10 years ago. And that isn't including what happened in 2004, Dimebag. But basically, I thought of, hey, 10 years ago, Pantera officially broke up. So why don't we make a video about what we think about Pantera, how they've impacted us, what we think of Pantera, just share some thoughts and whatever, just for the darn heck of it, I tell you.
Since a lot of people get mad at us because we don't mention Pantera enough.
Yeah.
We get a lot of those comments.
Yeah.
It's alright.
So, Captain?
Sure, I'll go first. Captain Keith Vicious. Yeah, Pantera, I don't know. I don't remember exactly why, but for whatever reason, I didn't get into them all that quickly as a metal fan. It took a little while. And, I think probably the first song I really got into them by then was, the title track of Cowboys from Hell, which is, I think just a phenomenal song. And I just mean, Pantera's just one of those bands. I really like them. I don't hail them as much as some people seem to revere Pantera as the greatest band ever, and I mean they're a great band, they're a phenomenal band, but I don't see them as the greatest ever. I think there are better bands, but I mean they have accomplished a lot. I mean, I think it was the third album was The Great Southern Trendkill, right? I think, or
yes.
something like that. Yes.
No. Far Beyond Driven was their third.
Yes. Okay. It was either Far Beyond Driven or The Great Southern Trendkill was like put out, when grunge started taking over. But they managed to, a metal band managed to take the #1 slot on the Billboard charts, which was like to prove, hey, we're still metal, and ain't nobody gonna fucking change that, and people can still listen to it. So they were impactful in that way, and I mean, Pantera is just a band that I like. You can kind of look, and they evolved a lot. You look at Cowboys from Hell; it's very much more thrash oriented. Phil Anselmo's doing a lot more vocally. On the later albums, he kind of restricts his vocal range to just screaming a bit, whereas he does hit like awesome falsettos, especially in Cemetery Gates, which is another one of my personal favorite songs. He's just awesome. And Pantera was, I said this a lot, Pantera was extreme before extreme metal was cool. They put out songs like, Domination, which there's like, a breakdown at the end kind of, and, that was, something kind of new for metal at the time, and they just awesome. And I mean, everybody in that band was good and phenomenal. Dimebag is probably, in my opinion, one of the greatest guitarists, ever. I mean, not many people would argue with me over that fact. But then, I thought Phil Anselmo was great, Rex was awesome, Vinnie Paul was pretty good. But, this band, it grew on me, and I grew to love them. It just kind of sucks how, I know with Dimebag, his passing was a terrible loss, and then just, how, I don't know, poorly everything else has gone since then. I mean, Phil Anselmo's got Down and his 1,500 other side projects. And, it sucks. He really can't sing anymore, which is terrible. But then, Vinnie Paul, he's being an ass with Damage Plan, or Hell Yeah, whoever he's touring with now. I can't keep track of it. And, I mean, I don't know. I had hope, maybe, that, that there'd be some kind of, even though without Dime, some kind of reunion, but, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, but I mean, Pantera is a band that really did affect my musical taste personally, so that's why,
without Pantera, yes, I would not be, listening to a lot of music that I've listened to now. Like Keith, it did take me a while to get into Pantera. And actually, the only reason why it took me a while is because I didn't know who the hell Pantera was. I've read a lot about Pantera. I heard about, this metal band that took #1 on the Billboard charts. I heard about Dimebag Darrell, but I just never listened to him. And to be honest, this is really funny, but the first song I ever heard by Pantera was Cowboys from Hell. Why? Because I was playing Guitar Hero. The first one. And it wasn't even the real song. It was like a re-recording of it. And I was like, dude, this song's fucking hard, so I'm going to look it up. And from there, so I'm thankful of Guitar Hero for that. It's kind of funny. But, Pantera's, I mean, they're 5 albums with, Phil Anselmo after, 1990 up till Revolution Is My Name. They're nearly flawless, all of them. And one thing I noticed about all of them is they all kind of have their own personality a little bit. Far Beyond Driven is just fucking heavy as shit. I mean, what's the song on there? Strength Beyond Strength, I think it is. That song is just heavy as shit. Or I'm Broken or Becoming off that album. And then, Cowboys from Hell it's kind of thrashy, and it takes it, a lot of influence from, older metal at the time, like, Judas Priest and stuff like that. And, Vulgar Display of Power, I feel, just kind of took what they did on Cowboys from Hell and just took it to a whole another level. This Pantera has so many just amazing songs that are just classics. I mean, if you want something that has, a lot of feeling to it, a lot of emotion to it, listen to Cemetery Gates. If you want something that you just want to get, fucking ramped and fucking break something, listen to fucking Hostile. I mean, they have such a wide range. And in Dimebag Darrell, I mean, we've said it so many times on this channel. I mean, he is just an inspiration to all that play guitar. I mean, everybody wants to be as creative as he is. I mean, he I'll say this about Pantera. I felt like at the time, Metallica, when it comes to bands that had an impact on metal, Metallica held the torch and they gave it to Pantera. And Pantera I just think without Pantera, a lot of metal genres wouldn't be around in my mind. I look at I feel that some thrash metal wouldn't be around. Groove metal would not be around without Pantera, or, if you want to call groove metal a genre. Like, bands like Lamb of God, I just don't think, or, Lamb of God, I just feel like they wouldn't be around without Pantera's influence. And metalcore, I just feel like wouldn't be around without Pantera's influence. Because I'm not going to call them breakdowns, because they're not really breakdowns, but these chuggy moments that Pantera has. I mean, you look at the chorus of This Love, just how chunky that is, and just awesome, and, just powerful that is. Stuff like that. It's just, very, influential on metalcore. I'm not going to call it breakdowns, but, it's very chuggy, it's just thick, it's heavy, and that's something that really, without Pantera, I just don't think really would have happened. Maybe not happened, but, the impact wouldn't be felt. And then Dimebag Darrell, I just feel that he kind of revolutionized guitar playing in metal. I mean, some of the things that he does is just fucking crazy. Like, it's so cool. The solo of Walk, when he does that thing where he's just like, just like, who would think of that? It's just so cool. And his solos just always felt so perfectly written. I was just jamming the song Tens today. That song is phenomenal. And the part that really, it sends chills down my spine when I listen to Pantera every single time is the ending of Floods. That guitar at the end, it's so undescribable. Literally every time I listen to it, it just gives me chills. When you listen to that part and then you think of Dimebag, you can't help but, somewhat get a little bit saddened and maybe a little emotional or something. It's just, it's crazy. And, like I said, without Pantera, I wouldn't be listening to what I listen to now. I mean, when I got into them, I really got into them. Like, I remember years ago playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and just every night I would play it, I would just jam the fucking shit out of Pantera all the time. I don't know why, I just fondly remember that, and, had lots of good times. I still jam Pantera a lot, and to me, they have so many great songs and so many classic albums, and I love it.
Yeah, like Tyler said, a lot of metal wouldn't be around nowadays. Like, I know a band that maybe not, everyone knows. I think a lot of people know them. After the Burial, they're heavily influenced by Pantera, Lamb of God, a lot of heavy, southern bands, even bands branching out to Nickelback, because they wrote some tribute song or whatever to Dimebag Darrell. I mean, that it goes to show that even if you don't like Nickelback, it affects more than just, extreme metal and stuff like that, which it heavily affects extreme metal, but even to rock and roll, like, I would guess Five Finger Death Punch would be a band that would, know Pantera. They were very, very inspirational and stuff like that, that's, people know that, but like these other guys, strangely enough, the first album that I really got into was Cowboys from Hell. The song itself, Cowboys from Hell, it was a good song. It's a good starting off song that you listen to. And it's funny, it's like, it was their first, heavier band, because before they wore makeup and, they were like another band. But then they put out Cowboys from Hell. I'm saying that right. It's not Cowboys of Hell.
It's Cowboys from Hell.
Alright, I keep thinking I was messing it up for some reason. Cowboys from Hell, the first song on there, the first heavy album that they put out, the first song on there, it's just cool that that's the start. That's the first song that I got into, so you know that I can go from there. It's a good feeling that you can start at the beginning with them. I was super into this band a couple of years ago, and they were probably all that I listened to for a long period of time. I would say that my favorite album from them would be the live album, Official Live 101 Proof. I think I said that in the right order. It's executed so well live. It feels so aggressive, so intimate, so heavy, so just titanically destructive in every way. This is probably the most pissed off band that I would ever recommend to someone if they were mad and they wanted angry music. Pantera is probably the most pissed off band that I've ever heard that writes good music. They're gonna be pissed off bands that just, I don't know, bang on the drums, but Pantera is just a huge band, and I may not listen to a lot of what I listen to now if it wasn't for Pantera. I was getting into a fair amount of metal at the time, so I don't know about that, but I know they influenced a lot of good bands, and they were a cool band. Like Sandblasted Skin, that song is just ridiculous. Am I thinking of Drag the Waters? Yeah, that song is heavy. Probably I would say maybe the most popular song, Walk, probably. A lot of people know that. Phil Anselmo, I wouldn't say is like the brightest dude. He's not the brightest bulb out there, and he's, he kind of embodies the pissed off American redneck in almost every way. The pissed off weed smoking heavy metal American redneck, but he had some good lyrics, like in fucking Hostile. The lyrics, you can tell they are written very well. He spoke the truth on a lot of things. I mean, I think a lot of it was probably his opinion, but he did make some good points for being a pissed off redneck. And it is a shame, like Keith was saying, how, you know, it is how it is now, and they can't just put it behind them and play a show or anything like that, or even just put it behind them, even if they don't play together anymore, just put it behind them. But you know, that kind of sucks. And yeah, it sucks to see how they go from being on top of the world to what they aren't now. And, you know, 10 years ago they broke up, and I've heard arguments from a bunch of different people why that was. I remember a while ago with Zach sitting here, and he was on the computer arguing with some jackass on Facebook or whatever that was saying they broke up because of Dimebag or something. I just remember some stupid argument. I forget why it was, but some jackass was arguing and arguing about why they broke up or whatever, and some whole argument. But just thinking about how they broke up 10 years ago, and then you think, like, yeah, it's just a band breaking up, and then something like that happens, and they never get back together. Well, they haven't since. I don't know if they ever will, but, you know, I was watching the Revolver Golden Gods Awards, the most recent one. Phil came on with Anthrax, and the guy is shot now. I mean, not to say that he can't sing, it's just, it comes out in small, aggressive bursts, and he just looks, you know, like, the years that he was in Pantera took a huge toll on him, and I don't see why they wouldn't. But one of the most, maybe even the most aggressive heavy metal band, most pissed off heavy metal band, I don't know if I would say revolutionary, but they did inspire a ton of bands, a generation of bands. You know, they were huge in the 90s, and it's just, you have to tip your hat to Pantera, and it sucks thinking, you know, 10 years, maybe even more since they made music or whatever, but 10 years since they broke up, and 9 years since Dimebag. It's just something to think about. That long without Pantera, and yet you still listen to their music and you think, like, you know, this was written, what, 20 years ago maybe, and it's still good. You know, it's still something that you don't hear enough of, and you think, I need more of this in some way. You know, nothing touches this. For 20 years, it's, you know, you can argue and say Dimebag wasn't that good or whatever. Vinnie Paul is overrated. I have feelings about Vinnie Paul that I'm not going to talk about. But Dimebag was huge. Phil Anselmo, inspirational in himself. Rex Brown, he played the bass. That's all you can say for bass players, pretty much, most of the time. But I'm sure he's a cool dude. But 10 years without Pantera. Yeah, tell us how you feel about it. It's just something to think about.
One thing I want to point out, though, is, you know, when they were around, not so much as, you know, Vinnie Paul and Hell Yeah right now. Looking back and listening to Vinnie Paul's drums in Pantera, they were fucking good. I mean, listen to I'm Broken during that main riff. Just his fucking double bass pattern that he has going on there is just ridiculous. It is so weird and so cool. And I just feel that, you know, Dimebag Darrell probably had more of an impact, but I think Vinnie Paul had a pretty good impact on metal drumming as, you know, it went forward. I mean, if you listen to him in Hell Yeah right now, I mean, it's not anything that special in my mind. But back in the day, I mean, he was on top of the world. His drumming is just fantastic on all of Pantera's records. And yeah, I mean, 10 years without Pantera, and I still feel that their impact is huge. It's felt.
You still got a nice little red mark that's still going to turn into a bruise.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, I was like 8 or 9 when they broke up, so I didn't even know them then.
Yeah.
And it's just weird thinking about it way back then. Like, they were putting out albums when I was born, and, you know,
And you brought up a good point. You know, you listen to Cowboys from Hell or Vulgar Display of Power, and it's still, from start to finish, you know, some of the best shit ever written. It's just, it feels so new and fresh every time you listen to it. It never gets old at all, and that's something that I just think is, you know you got some really masterful albums right there when you can listen to something over and over again and it never ever ever gets old. Another song I want to point out that is just really disgustingly heavy is the song Slaughtered. Yeah. That song is really gross. I love it.
But, yeah, there's a lot of crap out nowadays, and Pantera is still one of the best bands.
Yeah. Those shiz.
Yeah. Pantera's awesome.
But, who knows if they'll ever get back together. You know, anyone can ever talk about it, but you never know.
Yeah. I wish they would.
They could do like what Death does with the Death to All tour.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, just have, you know, a couple of the people come out and play guitar.
Yeah, I mean, hell, this argument's been made so much, but if Metallica can continue after, you know, numerous members, you know, being out of the band or unfortunately passing, and if Iron Maiden is still somehow together, the Rolling Stones are still together, I think. I mean, if that can happen, and
The Who.
Yeah, they're old bastards. Who else is still together after all these years?
The Eagles.
The Eagles,
I don't really listen to them.
They're still together.
Well, they're old as shit and they're still together.
The Beatles, they're still together. They're still making breakdowns. The Beatles invented music. But I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, Pantera's cool. 10 years. And let us know what you think.
What's your favorite song and album, really quick, by Pantera?
Favorite album has to be Cowboys from Hell. And the song that Phil Anselmo kills it on is Shattered.
Favorite album? I'd have to say Cowboys from Hell.
Wow.
Yeah, but probably my favorite song would probably be Fucking Hostile, just because that song's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, my favorite album is probably Vulgar Display of Power. And
combo breaker.
and I can't, yeah. I'm going to go with my favorite song being Mouth for War because of that main riff. So awesome. Let us know how you feel about Pantera, and we'll see you around.
You'll see us around, we won't see you.